Hi everyone, welcome back to Eleganza TV. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to make a stylish ruched bubu gown with a tight waist, perfect for a chic yet comfortable look. If this is something you're interested in learning, you definitely want to keep on watching and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more exciting tutorials. So let's jump right in. So let's start with the fabric. I made use of 3 yards of crepe fabric and then I have my sewing tools and elastic for the ruching details. So you're first of all going to fold your fabric into two and then you fold it again into four pieces because I'm going to be cutting the front and the back together. So first of all, I'll be taking out 2 inches from the length of my fabric because I don't want the fabric to be very long to be rubbing the ground, okay? And then I'll also be making use of that cutout part to form a belt that I'll be using to tie the waist of the dress to make it tight. So if you want your fabric to be very long like the inspiration, then do not cut out this part, okay? Just make use of the whole of the fabric, then you can use another fabric to form a belt on the inside. So I'll keep that fabric aside. Now let's go on to cut the gown. Okay, so the first thing I'll be doing is to measure 3 inches on the folded part, which is going to be for my neck width. Then after sewing, I should have about 3.5 wideness. And then for the depth of the neck, I'll make use of 1 inch for the back. And then I'll just use my curve ruler to connect the point to meet with the neck wideness. So guys, like I said, I'm cutting both the front and the back together. So after doing this, for the front neckline, which is going to be a V neckline, I'll go ahead to measure 7 inches. Then I'll use my straight ruler to connect from that 7-inch point to the neck wideness. So after doing this, on the other hand, I'll be taking 1.5 inch. I'll go down by 1.5 inch for my shoulder slants. So that part isn't showing very clearly. Just go ahead to come down by 1.5 inch or 1 inch for your shoulder slant. And then you use your straight ruler to connect from that point to your neck width. So guys, for the part where I have the shoulder slant, I'll go ahead to measure 14 inches. I'll come down by 14 inches from my shoulder slant, and this is going to be serving as my sleeve opening. Then also on that 14-inch point, I'll go ahead to go in by 1.5 inches, and from that 1.5 inches, I will just be rolling a straight line till I get to the end. So at this point, I'll go ahead to cut the back neckline, the shoulder, and the side of the gown. Okay. And then after cutting it out, I will go ahead to remove the back fabric from it. So guys, when I'm done cutting the gown, I went ahead to separate the back from it. Okay. So right here, I have only the front pattern. So I will go ahead now to cut out the front neckline. So guys, this is what I have the front part looking like. So what I'll be doing next is to fold in the V neckline. Okay, you're going to fold with half an inch. You can also make use of a bias. So after sewing, this is what I have it looking like. Okay, so I'll just go ahead to iron it properly so the seam can be relaxed. So guys, this is how the back neckline looks. I'll go ahead to fold it in neatly. You can also make use of a bias or you can cut a facing with the fabric. So guys, the next thing I went ahead to do was to fold my front part into two and iron it to note where the midpoint is going to be, okay? And that is where I'll be sewing my elastic on. And then for the elastic, I have about 40 inches. So how I got this 40 inches length was I went ahead to measure from my shoulder to where my neck width is going to stop. And then from that neck width there, I went ahead to measure how long I want my drawstring to be. So I measured it to be after my knee length. So that is how I got 40 inches. So I will take it over to my sewing machine and start stitching the elastic to the fabric. Then I will not sew it to the end. So guys, this is me sewing the elastic on the middle part of my front fabric. So as you're stitching down the elastic, you're going to be stretching it, okay, to get your ruching details on the front. So ensure that you're sewing directly on the middle of the fabric, okay. So guys, like I said, you're not going to sew it to the very end of the gown. You're going to go up about 1.5 inches so as to be able to fold the bottom of your gown. So after sewing my elastic, I have almost 15 inches extra. So I'll just go ahead to cut out that part. So when you want to cut or measure your elastic, you can make use of 30 or 35 inches. So guys, this is how the front part looks so far. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to join the shoulders of both the front and the back together. So you're just going to place them front side facing front side like so, and then you pin the shoulders and sew with half an inch to the end. So after joining the shoulders, the next thing I'll be doing is to fold in the sleeve opening. You're just going to fold it in twice to make it neat. So guys, after I finish with the sleeve opening, the next thing I'll be doing now is to shape the side of the gown. So you're just going to pin them together and then sew with half an inch. I'll be doing the same thing on the other side of the gown as well. So guys, the next thing to do is to fold the bottom of the gown. So the remaining space that we have from the elastic, this is the reason why I said your elastic should not get to the end of the dress. So I'll be folding the bottom to make it neat. So I have this two strip from the one I cut out from the fabric before I started cutting the gown. So this is what I'm going to be using for the belt. There's no specific measurement for it, but I have about 30 to 35 inches long for the strip. So I will go ahead to measure from my shoulder. I will take my half length of 17 inches. So right there on the half length line, I'll go ahead to take my round waist measurement divided by 4. So my round waist is 33 inches. I'll divide that by 4, which gives me 8.2. So that 8.2, I'll go ahead to measure from the center front, which is the middle part that has the elastic. I'll measure 8.2 on the half length line, okay? And then I'll do the same thing on the other side. So on the other side, you're also going to be marking your half length, and then on that half length line, you take quarter of your waist measurement from the middle point of the gown, okay? And then that is where I'll be sewing the belt on. So you're going to place each of the strip on the line and then ensure that you're pinning it on the front part, okay? Ensure that you're pinning it on the front part only. Then I'll take it over to my sewing machine and then top stitch on the belt. So you're also going to be doing the same thing on the other side. Place the belt on the marked line and then pin it only on the front part. Then take it over to your sewing machine and top stitch. So guys, that's basically all for the making of this dress. All you need to do is put on the dress and then tie the belt on the inside to get your tight waist. Thank you guys for watching. See you in our next tutorials. Bye bye.